टीवी पर वापस आ गए हैं। जिस तरह से ये पूरा मिशन रहा और जो नासा के तमाम वैज्ञानिक इससे जुड़े हुए थे और इसरो
You deserve the biggest speech अभी और बाकी है और देखते हैं फिर कहते हैं फॉर श्योर।
बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत अच्छा लगा। हाँ तो ये जो है बहुत अच्छा है।
क्या कुछ कहना चाहेंगे सर?
बाबू जी बड़ा गर्व की बात है, क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
यहाँ आप
अब वही है, ईश्वर को धन्यवाद करते हैं, सभी लोगों का मतलब आभार प्रकट करते हैं जिन्होंने हमारे बच्चे को आशीर्वाद दिया और मिशन पूरा हुआ, उसके लिए सबको हम आभार प्रकट करते हैं और ईश्वर को धन्यवाद।
आपकी आखिरी बात कल हुई थी, क्या कुछ उस समय बात हुई थी? अब तो पूरा मिशन कंप्लीट हो गया, क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
धन्यवाद, आपको धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद और साथ में आप लोगों का भी धन्यवाद जो आप लोगों ने इतना जो है इतना सबको दिखाया, पूरी मेहनत की, दिल दुनिया को दिखाया कि कैसे गया और कैसे आया बेटा, मतलब पूरा आप लोगों ने दिखाया। इसके लिए आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
आंटी थोड़ा इमोशनल भी हो गई थी आप उस वक्त जब लैंडिंग हो
बेटा इतने दिन बाद लौटा है तो थोड़ा सा भावुक होना बनता है,
लेकिन खुशी से
बहुत ज्यादा।
कल बात हुई थी, क्या कुछ बात हुई थी, क्या कह रहे थे?
कल नहीं बात हुई है, परसों बात हुई थी।
आंटी खुशी के आंसू हैं, खुशी के आंसू हैं। आपको धन्यवाद है, सबको धन्यवाद है,
सबको धन्यवाद है। आप बहुत खुश हैं,
पूरा परिवार
बहुत बड़ा मिशन करके आया। करो करो, आप करो ना, आप जाओ इधर इधर We still have something to watch. आप सब लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। And we are so happy. We have next step right now. Please watch that immediately. It's important one. Very important. He's coming out of the cupola. That cupola. Please watch that.
ये देखो एक ये
अरे वो ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है ये तो।
We've got some very
more location that family of Shubhanshu Shukla and 1.4 billion is watching spacecraft carrying all the Axiom 4 crew, including ISRO astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla, successfully entered Earth's atmosphere, splashing down over Pacific Ocean.
there's a lot going on in that spacecraft there with the crew. So
Recovery teams are now conducting post-landing safety on your screens on the left. Medical checks and post-landing safety is now being conducted, which is expected to take the next 10 to 15 minutes, post which all the crew members will be quarantined for the subsequent week to 10 days, and Shubhanshu Shukla is expected to be back only by technology. On the show with us, Captain V astronauts have been eyeing very closely. That splashdown is now successful. Shubhanshu Shukla is back on Earth. What happens hereafter? Apart from the quarantine process, there's a lot of research that the astronauts conducted as a part of the Axiom 4 mission. What are you most excited about?
I am most excited about the results from the myogenesis experiment and, of course, the the human interface experiments. And both of these experiments, both of these studies will have consequences for future research, not only to make modules for the Gaganyaan and other space missions and spacecrafts more accessible and safer for in the near future, but also have applications on Earth. For instance, the cognitive research, the research of how human brain and our rapid eye movement, etc., changes, or how much stress an astronaut feels when they are interacting with electronic interfaces in microgravity environment as compared to when they are interacting with such interfaces on Earth. How the stress response of the human body changes. And the betterment as a consequence of these experiments will not just be useful for creating better design for the future space missions, but also aviation on Earth. For the myogenesis experiment, we are not
just to say, Dr. Mahajan, that there will be crucial data and experience for India's Gaganyaan program that India will be able to leverage by the way of Shubhanshu Shukla's experience and on board ISS.
Yes. So although our, the team of 4 astronauts, our first 4 Gaganyaan 3s have been training for about 4 years, more than 4 years now on Earth. They were sent to Russia also for a year-long program. Currently, they are all training in the astronaut training facility in Bengaluru. But none of that training comes as close to what Shubhanshu has gone through, in this 18-day long period, and not just, being a part of the mission, but as a mission pilot. So now he brings in live experience, lived in experience from the space station of how to deal with those physical and physiological stresses, how to deal, we all know that it took the crew members about 3 days just to get accustomed to various things on the space station. So all of these things are going to fuel into making the Gaganyaan mission better and in near future than the Bharat Antariksh space station.
There you have it on your screens right now. The Dragon spacecraft that made its landing into the atmosphere just a couple of minutes ago. It's the search and rescue operation at the moment, as the splashdown that occurred about 10 to 15 minutes ago in search of all the 4 astronauts who re-entered the space, especially the Earth orbit, Earth atmosphere, just a couple of minutes ago. Shubhanshu Shukla has returned to Earth along with his 4 crew members. The Dragon spacecraft extraction is currently underway as we speak. Let's quickly cut across to Jitendra Singh, the Minister of State for
Because
Space.
one of her illustrious sons is coming back with a successful voyage, and more importantly, having performed those experiments which were assigned to him, which were exclusive, which never done before, which have a huge bearing on life sciences, on the well-being of the mankind across the world, which appropriately lives up to Prime Minister Modi's mantra of playing the role of a Vishwa Bandhu Bharat.
Sir, what were the key experiment conducted by Shubhanshu?
There were 3 or 4 categories. One is, of course, related to the life. And I also must point out over here, since you've given me this opportunity, that many of these kits, all these kits were indigenous, prepared within India, performed by an India. And the other department in the ministry, Department of Biotechnology, provided kits. Then some of the kits provided by the Indian Institute of Sciences in Bengaluru, then some from IIT. And if you ask me what were the kind of experiments, I think more interestingly the life science experiment related to muscles, because the muscles tend to become dysfunctional or tend to suffer wasting in the microgravity. So how best to prevent them and how to strategize their recovery. That was one. The second was, of course, which is also relevant to many of us, more to you than to me, how to
All right, so Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla, of course, with his fellow Axiom Mission 4 crew members, landed in Pacific Ocean at about 3 p.m. Indian Standard Time, following an 18-day stay at the ISS. The crew will now be carried towards the rescue vessel. It was 18 days in orbit and a 22.5-hour return journey.
Yes, just add it to her resume.
Remember, the AX crew, including Shukla, departed from the ISS on 14th of July, marking the end of their mission in low Earth orbit. The journey back to Earth aboard the Dragon capsule was expected to take 22.5 hours. Group Captain Shukla will now begin a week-long rehabilitation program. He will be quarantined to help his body adjust to Earth's gravity, following his time now in microgravity for over 18 days. The recovery plan will commence immediately. So perhaps it will be in a week to 10 days from now that we will be able to see Shubhanshu Shukla, and we will be able to hear him speak about his experience after returning to Earth. Dr. Mahajan continues to be with us. Dr. Mahajan, as I was saying, this is a significant moment for India. It's a significant moment for also partnerships as far as space is concerned. Now, India, of course, partnered here in this case with NASA. But, you know, as far as scientific exploration is concerned, India has always steered the course for partnering with the biggest of space agencies in the world. But this is also one of those successful partnerships now that has now come to fruition.
Yes, so see, cooperation and collaboration in sciences work very different from the usual diplomatic relations. In fact, right now also, and in this crew itself, in this international crew itself, there are many nations, of course, with which India has diplomatic relations, but then there are many whose experiments were also taken aboard by the crew, with which they do not have any diplomatic relations. So, you know, this is a continuing process, and this is what makes experimentation, cooperation, collaboration very, very different for sciences. Scientists, you know, even during Cold War, the US and Russia were fighting, but there were areas where their scientists were still collaborating. So this has been a historic thing for sciences, and I think this mission itself is very special because of the involvement of industrial partners. So this is Axiom Space's fourth human flight to the ISS. But for the three other nations involved here, we know that you know, it's after 40 long years that their second astronaut went into space. For India, this is a very strategic step, as I was saying earlier, because ISRO already has a very extensive planned space program in sight. And for the last couple of decades, especially, because scientific experimentation with the development of technology is becoming so expensive, so prohibitively expensive, that it is but natural for nations around.
Dr. Mahajan, I'll get you back. Shubhanshu Shukla's mother is speaking at the moment. Let's quickly cut across. Just lost the footage of that. We'll try and get that back very, very quickly. But you know, on your screens right now, as far as I can see, that's the rescue team there getting the Axiom 4 crew back on the California coast. That after the Dragon landed in water just about 24 minutes ago. And those are crucial visuals there of the crew being brought back to the California coast after they landed in Pacific Ocean. And this is where the rehabilitation program will now start. The team will ensure the safety of all the 4 astronauts, ensure that they are now put in a safe environment for the next couple of days. Therein, they will rest for at least 7 to 8 days before they get acclimatized to the Earth's atmosphere again. My colleague Vajula is with us. All right, he's joining us live from Bengaluru right now. Vaji, it does look like parents, family members, and anybody who remotely knew Shubhanshu Shukla extremely elated today by what this individual has done for India. Vaji?
Well, absolutely, Shweta. This is a proud moment, and this is the screen in which the entire the students who had come here to watch had watched the landing of the AXIM here. This is the planetarium in Jawaharlal Nehru, the UR planetarium, and this is where everybody saw the landing, and all these kids were here a few minutes back. They've been taken by their teachers, and I will also be getting the director here. But speaking of Shubhanshu Shukla, it is indeed a very proud moment because, and especially for Bengaluru, because Bengaluru is one place which has these centers for satellite research. The ISRO is over here, and we have seen in the past also the contribution done by Bengaluru with regards to the satellite. And we've also been told that this planetarium where we are right now was also one of those planetarium where two of the people who are a part of the Chandrayaan one, which is Shubhanshu Shukla, were here, and they had spoken to a lot of kids here in one of the events. So that has been graced by them also, and clearly the landing is something that everyone was waiting, and clearly it was a safe landing, nothing untowards happened. And I also have the director with me. Sir, how proud a moment this is, because I met you when he went to space and now he's coming back. Everything went safely. How proud a moment is this?
Yeah, the pride is unbridled, I would say. For the time being, it is goosebumps for me, in fact. How, what can I say, systematic and how professional the return journey was. You see, they re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, there were no issues, and when the communication blackout was there, it was handled very professionally, and ultimately, the spacecraft came back and landed at a speed of only 24 kilometers per hour. You yourself are a testimony to the fact that it was moving 45 minutes earlier, okay, around 2 o'clock, 2:15, it was moving at 27,000 kilometers per hour, and it reduced its speed 1,000 times. We can't even imagine from
against gravity this.
Yeah, when it re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, the thing is, due to friction, it significantly got its temperature reduced, and it has landed at mere 24 kilometers per hour. That is the average speed with which we move in Bangalore, in fact. Average speed, not the top speed. So the thing is, it is extremely satisfying, and it is extremely heartening that the journey has been completed. At least as it is apparent, the thing is, each and every phase of the journey was really a memorable one, and Shubhanshu Shukla got a very good name. In fact, I still remember Peggy Whitson telling that Shubhanshu Shukla is my pilot. I'm very happy about it. And Tibor Kapu, one of the astronauts in Axiom 4 mission, he said, looking at the knowledge what Shubhanshu Shuks has, I feel that he is 130-year-old, in fact. So that much of judicious behavior was seen, or the kind of knowledge he had acquired, that was expressed very optimistically by Axiom 4 astronauts.
Also, every time when we go to space, there is something to learn from it, and it's a learning mission. It's so. What are we trying to learn this time around? What is it that was left undone that we're going to learn this time?
Excuse me. So, what we have learnt is how do we experience things when we go to space, when we travel towards space. What kind of experiences are there when we are traveling in space, in the weightless environment of space? How do we perform our daily...
Trying to give crew some level of situational awareness of where they are and where they're going next. So Dragon will remain in the nest during the crew extraction and for the journey back into port. The spacecraft is currently was just lifted, as you saw, and set on the nest. And from here, it'll be centered and oriented. And then from there, Dragon will be translated into the hangar underneath the helipad aboard the ship so that we can then open the hatch. And once open, a SpaceX medical doctor will be the first one in to check on the crew to see if they are ready to egress out of the vehicle. And as we noted earlier, Axiom medical teams are also on the recovery vessel working in tandem with SpaceX staff to assess and assist the crew.
The astronauts will egress, or what we call exit, from Dragon's side hatch, pending spacecraft orientation in the water. Before opening the hatch, the spacecraft's cabin pressure must be equalized with the outside environment. Now, once the hatch is opened, that will be the Axiom 4 crew's first breath of fresh air since boarding Falcon 9 at the start of their mission on June 25th.
That will be an exciting moment for the crew, I know. But for the crew and also for the ground crews, getting that first confirmation of your crew exiting the spacecraft, getting good medical checks, and then coming out and giving a thumbs up is something everybody wants to be able to see, and we'll be able to see it soon.
Yeah. And it looks like the spacecraft is nestled into the nest.
Dragon, SpaceX, welcome aboard the recovery ship. Apology for the delayed call earlier. We are still working to transition the forward link. Recovery personnel are completing their final checks, and I will let you know when we are ready for translation across the deck to the egress platform.
Now, they are de-rigging the spacecraft, but they're also doing some final sniff or leak checks and then covering the thruster locations prior to opening that hatch. Let's just make sure that the vehicle is more than safe for the crew members to exit the vehicle.
All right, that is the Axiom 4 crew there. The rescue teams currently working on the Dragon spaceship, trying to get all those 4 safely back out. My colleague Kabir Naqvi joining me on the show. Kabir, those are very crucial moments before we're going to see Shubhanshu Shukla again.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for that. I'll tell you what, 18 days on the International Space Station. The first Indian to board the International Space Station, albeit from the Harmony module side, which belongs to the United States. But what we're seeing on our screens right now, Shweta, is actually telling us why this is a team sport. Space exploration, space faring. You've got Axiom, you've got NASA's collaboration, ISRO's collaboration, Poland, Hungary, India, United States. Those make up the nations as part of the crew of Axiom 4. And the amount of experiments that were carried on there. I mean, you rightly pointed out, I was listening to your own introduction into the show. They're bringing back 500 plus kilograms of NASA cargo, and that includes a lot of experimentation that they themselves carried out, experiments that might have been going on board the International Space Station for the past 7-8 months now. But the most important thing, and this is where I get really excited as well, is that, we look at airplanes. The airplane lands, there's a quick security check, and then it's ready to go again. I think that's what we're looking at right now. Sustainable space exploration. The Dragon capsule, it has now come back. It's now on the recovery vessel, and this same capsule, it's taken multiple journeys into space, and that's what we're inching closer towards. I mean, within our future, I'd like to hope so, that we live in times where multiple space exploration flights are taking place. The Falcon 9, on top of which the Dragon capsule was placed when it took off, it lands back very nicely for it to be reused. And we've been doing it here in India as well. ISRO's PSLV seems to be the Uber for space exploration. If you have a satellite out there that needs to go up there, then you come and talk to us, because we do it cheaper and better than the rest of the world. Absolutely. And now the entire world is looking at at that as well. They've accepted the fact that we do it better and cheaper, and that's why ISRO was a major collaborator on the Axiom 4. But needless to say, very soon now, the capsule which is already on the nest. And I was thinking to myself, because Sunita Williams and William Butchmore, who were stuck and stranded in space, I don't think Sunita Williams would have minded that. She really loved space and the International Space Station. Her vlogs on YouTube still racking up those numbers in terms of views. But if this would have happened about 5 hours from now, maybe better daylight would have done some justice to the splashdown and the entirety of the visuals that we've been seeing.
But good for us, it's daylight for us. I think that's what's more important. A lot of people are wide awake to be able to witness this very historic moment here in India. And I think what's exemplary astonishing for me about that space flight is not just the fact that ISRO collaborated with NASA, but Hungary and Poland. It does look like science goes beyond the realm of politics. So when countries don't align politically, science still aligns. And the success of Axiom 4 mission and the fact that the crew members are safely docked at the moment is a testament to that. And as you rightly mentioned, it is a collaborative effort. It's a time-taking process, but at the same time, the possibility of space flight missions becoming more subsequently increasing in number, increasing in frequency, is something that Shubhanshu Shukla, along with ISRO, NASA and the rest of the world space agencies are also hoping to do going forward. Let's quickly take a question from Dr. Smriti Mahajan, Director for Educational Partnerships at Starscapes, continues to be with us. Dr. Mahajan, one thing that India is also hoping to explore by the way of Gaganyaan is the possibility of space flight and many such missions where human space missions become a reality and perhaps also increase in frequency going forward. So that, as we were talking earlier, has also been made possible by the virtue of experience that Shubhanshu Shukla will bring with him.
Indeed. And one thing that's very interesting here is we often say, especially as people studying space and astronomy, that space is infinite, universe is infinite. But we have to understand that even though universe is infinite and space is infinite, space is not infinitely inhabitable. So here, specifically, when we talk about human space flights, we are talking about, and in case of this particular mission, or establishing space stations, the currently established International Space Station, or the upcoming, the other space station that's still in the low Earth orbit is the Chinese space station. And then when we are talking about our own indigenous Indian space station, we are only talking about the low Earth orbit, which is about 400 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, right? So although space is infinite, right now our technology allows us to explore this idea of human space flight to the low Earth orbit and exploit various manufacturing and scientific research possibilities in the low Earth orbit. Now, of course, looking forward in the future, we talk about permanently manned spacecrafts, space stations like the Chinese already have. We can talk about setting base on Moon and later on maybe on Mars. And many of the experiments that were conducted by this particular crew will feed into the research, taking those possibilities forward and India's space exploration mission forward, because all of Shubhanshu's experiences will feed directly into making the modules for Gaganyaan and the Gaganyaan mission better. So no amount of simulator exercises can give you the kind of experiences that he has gained by spending these 18 days on the International Space Station. Shweta.
Thank you for that. Let's quickly, talk about the visuals on our screens right now, Kabir. I think it's the last few seconds before which the crew members will finally come out. The rescue teams, of course, working around the clock for the last 7 to 8 minutes to get all our 4 crew members out successfully.
Yep, the Dragon capsule, which has been dubbed Grace, and rightly so, it very gracefully made its splashdown. I was earlier listening to how, it made a splashdown when it was at the velocity of about 24 kilometers per hour only. And last time I was looking at the live feed, it was on the upwards of 24,000. So how quickly that comes down, that's also, it is mind-boggling how science, truly works at this point in time. They're cleaning off the doors, disinfectants being sprayed on the Dragon capsule, and shortly from now that hatch is going to open up, and I think the cameras are going to go in first. You're going to get a little glimpse of all the 4 crew sitting right there. Shubhanshu Shukla, I think right in the center towards the right. He's been piloting this mission. He's got a little tab on his thigh over here. That's how the axiom for Dragon capsule spacesuits work. I do know this because of Sunita Williams and William Butchmore followed that to the T, and very soon now that hatch is going to be opened up, Shweta, and the moment that we've all been waiting for. And take a look at that. It's about dawn time over there. Sunrise just coming up on the coast of California, and the door is going to be opening up. It's going to be beautiful for the entire crew to come out through that as well.
Wake up to the dawn there, and as the fog there dissipates over the Pacific Ocean, that door is also likely to pop open in just a couple of minutes from now. It's the day that Indians have been waiting for, very, very closely eyeing, for he is the first ever Indian to dock the ISS, to go aboard the ISS, the second Indian ever to go into space. So he carries with him the dreams and aspirations.
I think they're just about to open up the hatch now, Shweta. With us also on the broadcast is Mr. Ramashish Ray, founder and managing director of Starscapes Experiences. A very warm welcome to you as well, Mr. Ray. Just stay on with us. The hatch has now been opened up. I think they're going to go in for the first confirmations and affirmations as to what's happening. Let's dip into what Ground Control Houston is trying to talk through to Dragon capsule Grace.
And you see that square looking tool, that's just a protector for the hatch seal for while the crew egresses. This is a reusable vehicle, so we are protecting both the crew as well as the spacecraft, making sure there's no damage that happens and that the crew doesn't bump their head on anything on the spacecraft.
Space vehicles, because we're talking about sustainability of spacefaring and space exploration, so safeguarding the crew, but at the same time safeguarding the capsule as well, which for some weird reason, Shweta, to me looks like a gold version of the Stormtrooper helmet from Star Wars, but
better.
It's only better and bigger,
and
of course.
More preserved and bigger.
That's a great Comic-Con idea. Maybe, if these do get decommissioned, they can be pushed forth for various comic conventions. But again, just how small it looks from the outside, but can actually hold 4 different crew members, 500 plus kilograms of NASA cargo, and all the important the gizmos and the gadgets. I was looking at one of the astronauts. I do not know the name as of now. When you're sitting in your own vehicle, there are various things to pacify yourself. I mean, I love to play the tabla on the dashboard, but you can't do that on the Axiom 4 or the Dragon capsule. So much of gadgets and gizmo around you. One wrong push of a button.
Very tech savvy, loaded with tech, loaded with buttons. Any sort of their fingers moving around perhaps is not very good for any of the crew members. But while we are looking at those pictures, Ramashish Ray, founder, managing director, Starscapes, is with us. Mr. Ray, these are the last few seconds before we see Shubhanshu Shukla's face. Perhaps he will not be speaking at the moment, I believe, Kabir. He will be speaking later sometime. He will go into
look at all the cameras, Shweta. Look at all the cameras. I mean, you never know. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope he comes out and does a little bit of a namaste, or maybe speaks to the cameras. But usually they're so tired, you never know.
It was a 22.5-hour journey, so which essentially a day-long journey for him to come back to India. Mr. Ray, what are your big expectations, sir, as far as all that went aboard ISS? What are you most hopeful about? All the experiments that India has conducted.
Yeah, first and foremost, I would say that I was on a call with my friends in California, because many of them actually woke up, who were sleeping on that call, woke up because of the sonic boom, as the Dragon capsule kind of came through space. Many of us don't experience that, but first and foremost, I think it's a great thing that everything is safe. Space flight, especially with the kind of probabilities which exist. Let's say now that everything is back safely, and I would love to see Shucks back and all the crew coming out there. Safe experiments are done. The learnings will continue. What we are looking at it from Starscapes, of course, is how we can apply some of those learnings to the kids who work with us and all the children, as well as the consumers who come to us, the spacefarers and the astrophiles. My expectation is, and I think Dr. Mahajan, my colleague, was there before. As she said, there are various things around bio as well as geo or further learnings which will happen. Shucks has done, I'm sure, a brilliant job. Most importantly, the learning which is inside here, which he will carry for our future mission, and that's worth its weight in gold or platinum, whatever way we want to go. That's I think we can already see those visuals
from inside. Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah,
everything looks good. Everything looks good. Everything looks great, and doesn't it, Mr. Ray?
Yes. Yeah, and as you said, the helmet, this new Star Trek is coming out live. Isn't it amazing that one is the sustainability angle, but imagine the costing. We are waiting. I remember last time discussing with you how and if will I be able to go to space. But it's this reusability. Besides protecting Mother Earth, where Axiom is so different and the whole program is, because that's what the SpaceX has bought. Because of this, costs go dramatically down. The timelines go dramatically down. We are able to now send rockets into space every few days. You will see if you see globally. This was not the case 20-30 years back. So these are great moments, and I can see. I think
you're absolutely right, Mr. Ray. One punch, one round, one step at a time, and even as these astronauts now very delicately, start coming out, egressing, if that's the right scientific word, from the Dragon capsule. Needless to say, last time around with Sunita Williams and William Butchmore, but they had stayed on the International Space Station far longer than the Axiom 4 crew. They had wheelchairs and stretchers available for them. I don't see wheelchairs and stretchers right now. Do you think there's going to be some sort of difficulty for them to stand vis-a-vis the gravity on Earth and what they were experiencing in the lower orbit?
For the time duration, and especially, it's not that they don't do exercises on board. Even if you do exercises, of course, there is a bit of tissue loss and muscle loss, but should not be the case. I think there will be an assistant walkout, which should be good enough. And while I don't expect them to talk right away, usually they will go and there are pre-checks to be done, medical checks, etc., before they actually do the press meet and the talks, etc. But I'm sitting here waiting to cheer up the moment they come out.
I think we're all doing that, Mr. Ray. We're all sitting here waiting to see the first glimpse of our pilot, our own Shubhanshu Shukla, to come out of there. But of course, other 4 members of that crew who are also expected to come out perhaps any second from now. Egress, as Kabir was pointing out, perhaps a more scientific term, more delicate term to use here in this situation. After staying in low Earth orbit for good 18 days, it's going to be difficult for them. There are no stretchers, as you rightly mentioned, so perhaps they will be in a position to walk out. We'll only have to see in a couple of moments from now, but it's a crucial picture there. And for such similar flights, human flights to space, Kabir, and given that humans have existed for thousands of years, this is the only 4th flight we've ever been able to make to the low Earth orbit. Also goes on to talk about how far we have come in the last couple of years.
No, absolutely. I mean, when the Chandrayaan-3 was a success, we couldn't stop talking about how far we've come from that rocket launch that took place from the church in Kerala and, where we are today. But I think collaboration is one thing that we need to look at, which has been very strong with the ESA, with what China has done to the International Space Station. Take a look at the advancements Japan and Canada bring themselves to the International Space Station. I mean, the big robotic arm, which usually single-handedly does everything on its own from the outside. The spacewalks have, the number of spacewalks and their frequency have diminished because of that particular one aspect of technology, which can't be undermined. So everybody is doing their little bit. And this time around, Saudi Arabia, also became part of this mission with Axiom, because every now and then you had these scientific briefings. I'm not sure, maybe Mr. Ray was following these scientific briefings very clearly and very closely. Mr. Ray, out of all the experiments that were carried out, stem cell acceleration and repair was of grave significance, something that was supposed to be carried out under the ambit of ISRO as well. And Axiom made it a point that in the science briefing they do talk and tell us about the stem cell generation and stem cell research, which Shubhanshu Shukla himself was carrying out. So you rightly pointed out earlier in the discussion that
there you have it.
Wow, Peggy Whitson, you just saw Peggy Whitson.
Peggy Whitson is out.
Home, having logged 695 days in space on 5 flights. She is the 7th on the all-time list for most days in space by a human. It's an incredible feat.
Legendary.
She is, of course, a legend, a veteran when it comes to space exploration. But Mr. Ray, the visuals do speak for themselves. Even as celebrations begin in Lucknow, the parents of Shubhanshu Shukla's teacher, earlier a cake cutting ceremony was carried out when the Splashdown was successful. And now I think cheers and applauds when we finally see Shubhanshu Shukla. I think he's going to come out any minute now, but they only need some sort of assistance. They're walking out on their own. That's a good sign, isn't it?
Yes, this is what I was saying. It's not such a long deal. I mean, Sunita had really, and Butch had a really quite a tough time. But to your point, what you were raising, just imagine all this is happening in one generation. So imagine the adaptability of these guys. Look at us. I mean, most of us in the back of science would not be sitting on TV channels and talking. And similarly for Shucks. It's not just he is an astronaut. The amount of public interaction he's doing and the way he's coming, he's a rock star. And that's what these guys have become. So that requires a lot of adaptability and learning in itself. And therefore, they benefit to the millions who watch them, right? It's not only the cricketing heroes or the Bollywood heroes. In some senses, the way they are working with media, the way the messages which they are doing, the way they are interacting, they are our new age heroes. And that really augurs well for science. It augurs well for the society overall.
You have it, the parents, teachers of Shubhanshu Shukla cheering, perhaps hoping that he'll be the next to come out of
he is the next to
Dragon
come out.
capsule. And I think just a couple of more seconds, let's see the face very clearly.
He is the one sitting, on the
forward
portion. Shubhanshu Shukla, historic return, call sign Shucks, makes his way back home. Emotional scenes, celebrations galore in Lucknow. That was the father of Shubhanshu Shukla. Couldn't speak much, but you could see him smiling.
Absolutely. All right, the very eager parents and very eager cameras.
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। इस समय जो है हम लोग बच्चे को देखकर बहुत खुश हैं। पूरी यात्रा कैसी रही सर? 18 दिन रहे वहाँ पर। अच्छी रही यात्रा, अच्छी रही जैसा कि हाँ बात होती थी और लगता था आपको कि अंतरिक्ष से बात हो रही है। अब मंत्री से बात कर लेता है थोड़ा हल्का लगता है।
यही पल तो था जिसके लिए जी रहे थे।
नहीं बिल्कुल उसका मिशन पूरा हुआ। ईश्वर को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और सभी देशवासियों का आभार प्रकट करते हैं।
साक्षात रूप से मिलने के लिए शुभांशु से
नहीं बिल्कुल बहुत अच्छा लगा। बहुत
मिलना कब होगा?
अब मिलना 15 दिन लग जाएंगे।
तो काफी उनका इंतजार है, किस तरीके से स्वागत की तैयारी है?
नहीं बहुत भव्य स्वागत करेंगे हम लोग जो है बिल्कुल एंजॉय करेंगे, पार्टी करेंगे पूरा बैंड बाजे के साथ स्वागत करेंगे, जो कुछ होगा बहुत अच्छे तरह स्वागत करेंगे।
शुभांशु की सकुशल वापसी हो गई, क्या कहेंगे?
क्या कहेंगे, भगवान का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है, कुशल मंगल वापस आ गए हैं। हम लोग के लिए बहुत गर्व का पल है। शुक्ला परिवार का शुक्ला जी का बेटा अच्छा लग रहा है आपको, तो यही देखने के लिए वेट कर रहे हैं। शायद आपसे
बस सब मिलने की मुलाकात है, अभी तक जो है आने की वो थी, अब मिलने की अपेक्षा है। बस जितनी जल्दी मिलेंगे उतनी जल्दी मिलेंगे हमसे।
जब वो आ रहे थे, लैंड हो रहे थे, उस टाइम पे काफी प्रार्थना कर रहे थे मन ही मन में, क्या कुछ?
ये तो अब ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि वही सब कुछ ले आवे, यही हमारे लिए बड़ी। ये देखो
आराम से शुभांशु के पिताजी सर तुम्हारे साथ है सर, जिस तरीके से हाथों में
Parents there, Kabir, their son, historically the only ever second Indian to go into space, and he came back very, very successfully, conducting those many researchers, carrying tons of payload back with him to India. His parents are celebrating, his teachers are celebrating in Lucknow. We also have celebrations on in Nehru Planetarium in Bengaluru, where kids very excitedly, perhaps looking at their role model, coming out of that Dragon. And with that, I think it not only completes, it's a 360 degrees to the Axiom mission, but also I believe a starting of what is to come by the way of more research, more evidence as to what all is possible on space, and how India's Gagan Yatris will be able to get the right sort of help, mentorship with what Shubhanshu Shukla brings on board.
I got a little teary-eyed just by looking at those celebrations as well. We're going to play those visuals out again. That's Shubhanshu Shukla wearing the tricolor proudly, on his shoulder as part of that spacesuit. The family members, I wouldn't be able to speak to the media at this point in time, at this juncture. When your offspring goes to another continent to study, it's a big deal, let alone, hundreds of kilometers into the space in the lower orbit, and to make that historic journey back home, becoming the first Indian to enter the International Space Station, not just enter, carry out experiments over there, pilot the mission, and the great and huge learning curve that he's going to bring back to India's own space ambitions and space exploration bid, which, by the way, has been taking leaps and bounds with the advent of Chandrayaan-3, the rover that left the emblem on, on the soil on the moon. And soon, shortly, we're going to have the Gaganyaan mission as well. Ramashish Ray continues to be with us on the broadcast here. Mr. Ray, what went through your mind when you heard the parents speak? They're saying, "Bahut hi garv ka pal hai." You can't disagree with that as well. And you said that he's a rock star. Do we have the actor for Rakesh Sharma's biopic now?
And I heard somebody saying he's about 133 years old in wisdom.
That's his own crew member. That's his own crew member. He does calculations so fast. He must be 130 years old.
That's the wisdom that he's bringing to that space mission.
Well, there are a few things. Am I audible?
Yep.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, few things. Definitely a rock star for many youngsters, and you know the reason. I mean, today, besides being a mathematician, pilot, he's interacted with the media so well, with the Prime Minister, with all the special occasions on YouTube, which we have been watching, which he did. Now, coming back to actually, there was a question which you had raised about stem cell research, etc. Why is it important? See, if you see, the machines have become reusable, which means they're lesser cost, we can do it faster, but the human body has its limitations. And stem cell research has that spark possible where it could lead us to being able to repair, to create organs. And it's not just about human longevity on Earth, but think about space. I mean, it's not that there is a nearby Ames I can check in and solve all my problems. So if we have to be spacefarers for longer missions, for staying in Mars or Moon, which is some of the things which we are all imagining or dreaming of, we need to be able to solve this problem of the frailty of the human body. It's extremely adaptable. We are doing some amazing things, but one silver lining is stem cell research, and I think that's some things which they tested also in space. Very, very starting bits of the research, but I'm sure with continued focus on that, like human being, like mankind has found answers.
Were you
I think
following
we'll find
the
answers
science
to this.
briefings? Were you following the science briefings that were being carried out?
I couldn't all of them. Sorry, I've been busy with running shows myself, but not all of them, sir.
Was there any sort of development that came through the yoga aspect? Because for the first time, it wasn't about only establishing our soft power, because that's clearly established all across the world, but to carry out a scientific experiment by doing yoga in microgravity. Any sort of development on that front about how that experiment went on and what really happened?
Yeah. So the reading notes which I took. So one of the things was being looked at is the aspect of the mind in that. So breathing and the mental stamina, slowing down certain parts of the, it's already proven. But what he did was in space trying to show that even in that situation, you are able to do certain breathing exercises, being able to calm the mind, as well as sensors which are picking up all the bodily signals of how the body is behaving in that current situation. Now, I think the sad part, or I think it's only now that the world is kind of slowly embracing some of the things which we had. I think I spoke to you earlier about how we focused on temple architecture in one of our programs, and so similarly yoga. It's a lot of versions have come out, hot yoga, steam yoga, etc. But its impact on the human mind and its ability to being able to calm down the nerves, being able to then solve certain problems inherent is something which is still coming out. So it's not a scientific paper in that sense which is published, but I would hope that these now come out and get published and get recognized by the peers. That will be great.
Well, Mr. Ray, Los Angeles has been taken over with goat yoga, baby sheep yoga, and puppy yoga, and God knows how many kinds of yoga. I think it's a fair amount of time before puppy yoga makes its way on the International Space Station. But at this point in time, let's talk about Peggy Whitson as well, the legend mission lead, somebody who's a veteran. And when it comes to Axiom's own, frequent flyer, she's right there up on top. She's taken, trips on the same capsule about 2 times. She's flown with Axiom about 3 times, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong here. But the amount of time she's visited the International Space Station, there couldn't be a better lead than Peggy Whitson to carry out these experimentations and make sure that these new faces, including Shubhanshu Shukla, feel comfortable, feel welcomed on the International Space Station. There's a lot of experience that she brings to this crew as well.
Yes, and I think she's spent almost 2 years in space cumulatively. I think just imagine. I mean, there are 2 years. I think something like 690 days or something. And the other thing which is astonishing, she is what we think. I mean, we keep retirement age in India or many places in the world at 58 or 60, right? She's 65. And this lady is, leading the mission, and I mean, the kind of harbinger. She retired from astronaut from NASA quite some time back. I think 2017-18. But look at her love for space, and she's soldiered on. She's not let age come in between. She's found a new mission to be able to bring this private partnership with NASA, and her, of course, experience and long-term network in NASA helps. It helps Axiom. It helps obviously NASA itself to find a new leaf. So if I kind of start to read, and I was thinking. space, been at it for weeks and months and years cumulatively, not single-handedly, but that's. And I think one of the things which Shaks would have learned and would have picked up is having a great someone like her as a teacher.
Yep.
And I think you rightly pointed out. I mean, what better than someone who spent so many missions, so many type of instruments? I would wonder what kind of conversations they would have had, if I can call them corner room coffee conversations happening on ISS, where he would have picked up her brain, right? What are the various moves?
At many of those occasions, Mr. Ray, at many of those occasions, he wouldn't have even asked a question. I think Peggy Whitson would have intervened and, asked him outright, I think this is what you're going through. Let me tell you, it's absolutely fine. You don't need to be anxious about this. Better to be anxious to do this because only great things are coming your way. I had, in fact, picked up some elements to talk about, help the viewers also make this, handpick somebody else who was also on the International Space Station. So you had 3 generations of astronaut selection committee heads that were together on the International Space Station. And I was just going through how, some of those last final farewell nights must have taken place on the International Space Station, because you look at it, there is so much of learning that happens. It's a little bit of a summer camp, like a little bit of an exchange program for the elite that took place. Glad Shubhanshu Shukla could be a part of that. John Kim of the United States, another astronaut right up there, he said, we swapped stories and marveled at how people from diverse backgrounds and nations came together to represent humanity in space. And for appetizers, we made rehydrated shrimp cocktails and crackers. Our main course featured savory chicken and beef fajitas, and the cosmonauts capped the night with a delicious cake made from sweetbread, condensed milk, and walnuts. So, hey, there can be a lavish spread on the International Space Station as well. We're going to pick Mr. Ray's brains right on the other side. Let's listen into some reactions that are also with us. Some school students that now find Shubhanshu Shukla as their role model. Of course, Shubhanshu Shukla, call sign Shuk's own proud, very proud parents. Shubhanshu Shukla's mother and father, their reactions as well. Listen in to all of it.
And we've got our pilot, Shubhanshu Shukla.
अब वही है, ईश्वर को धन्यवाद करते हैं, सभी लोगों का मतलब आभार प्रकट करते हैं जिन्होंने हमारे बच्चे को आशीर्वाद दिया और मिशन पूरा हुआ, उसके लिए सबको हम आभार प्रकट करते हैं और ईश्वर को धन्यवाद।
और साथ में आप लोगों का भी धन्यवाद, जो आप लोगों ने इतना सबको दिखाया, पूरी मेहनत की, दुनिया को दिखाया कि कैसे गया और कैसे आया बेटा, हमारा पूरा आप लोगों ने दिखाया। इसके लिए आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
जैसा मैंने कहा कि विश्व के लिए ये गर्व का पल तो है ही है, भारत के लिए एक अद्भुत आनंद का पल कि भारत मां का एक सुपुत्र आज कामयाबी से लौटा है, एक ऐसे प्रयोग से, एक ऐसी यात्रा से जिसमें बहुत सारे ऐसे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए गए जो पहले कभी ना किए गए थे, लेकिन जिनका समस्त मानव जाति के लिए महत्व रहेगा। और जैसे मोदी जी हमें हमेशा सिखाते हैं वसुदेव कुटुंबकम, और साथ ही साथ हमें याद करवाते हैं कि भारत को विश्व बंधु बन करके अपनी भूमिका निभानी है। आज वास्तव में विश्व बंधु के रूप में शुभांशु ने हमारी तर्जुमानी करते हुए वो काम वहां अंजाम दिया है, और ये कह सकते हैं कि अंतरिक्ष में एक स्थायी स्थान भारत को आज स्थापित करने का अवसर भी रहा, सफलता भी रही।
Also, Mr. Ray, there can be a lavish spread on the International Space Station now. Can there be not? Rehydrated shrimp cocktails, you had savory chicken, beef fajitas, you had condensed milk and walnuts with, bread for your dessert. I mean, sounds like a tasty bit. When I was growing up, I was told you had small little capsules to take up into space for your micronutrients and whatnot. It's not easy to digest and ingest food in your stomach up in space, but these guys have it quite great.
Yeah, and look at it this way. This is the ingenuity, right, of this team. It's just see how they have captured the imagination. Rehydrated shrimp, which is not something which maybe some of them, what we are saying is a dried can of shrimp and they have put some water in it and basically is rehydrated. But it is the way, whatever the circumstances, and there's something to learn there. Whatever the circumstances, you see the resources you have and it's all in the mind. You use that to be positive and you have your party. It's not that, oh, you're sitting at your evening and in spite of everything, comfortably in your home in Gurgaon or Delhi or Bangalore and having a large spread and then still saying, oh, there is something missing. So I think that's the human element, that's the camaraderie, that's the ability to look at the positive side, come up with some fun which they can have over there, and that's brilliant teamwork. To see that happening within the short period which they all came together, they are real global citizens who don't see barriers, and I think as the Minister Sir was saying, therefore it's a way. I think Shak's the way he's done. He made the whole world also his own, like it teaches us. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is one. So if you see from space, when you see the Earth, I think I mentioned this is Carl Sagan's famous quote, and the fact that all the kings, all the queens, and all the wars, and all the fun and the tribulations all happen in that one planet. And this cross-country, cross-world partnership, and Shaks along with them, this scenes, the party scenes which they did, the explanations which they do, is a great green big flag which they are flying for humanity and the course of humanity in the future.
No, that's very well put, Mr. Ray. But we're going to be doing a little bit of disservice if we were to say that there's not even the slightest of politics that is involved in space exploration and, global hegemony as to who's the best spacefarer and who's got the best capabilities. There is a slight bit of politics that's also involved over there. Of course, these astronauts, they look beyond borders, they look beyond identities and, caste and creed, but a little bit of politics does sort of trickle down and, just it has entered the space station as well, because I was listening and looking at all the ham radio contacts. Now there is a number of how many nations have been ham contacted throughout the years. Then Shubhanshu Shukla has put India on the map once again by making 2 separate ham radio contacts. The same was done by the astronauts from Poland and Hungary as well. Peggy Whitson, I think she's done and board with the ham radio, but not so much for the other 3 crew members of Axiom 4. So when you're talking about the political race that is parallelly running with our space exploration bid, it's great to see collaborations with ESA, with NASA, but to do it all by yourself, to put our own rover on the dark side of the moon with the emblem on its trail, and now that emblem quite proudly, imprinted on the soil of the moon. I mean, there's a little different sense of pride that just comes across. So there's a little bit of politics at play as well, and India has now rightfully made its space. It's announced its entry, at least, onto the actual and serious elite space exploration. Am I wrong here?
You are not at all wrong. It's not a club which allows free entry. Let's face it, the race for resources on Earth is well known. The race for resources on moon has started. The race for asteroid mining has started. And if you are strong, on the other hand, as I had said, if you are strong, the others will collaborate. If you are weak, nobody is going to collaborate with you. Our rocket scientists, if Vikram Sarabhai Foundation had not started and all the work they had done, we wouldn't be here today invited on that table. That's the reality. So, see, the thing is, astronauts as a community, when they are there, or pilots, they are not involved in this part. They are there to do their job. They, like a good soldier, they are doing their part. But behind the scenes, would he have been in the ISS? Would he have been invited if India did not have that heft, that knowledge?
That's exactly what I was trying to put forth.
Work. Yeah, India has done some pioneering work. I mean, finding water on the moon was our mission. So we can't be taken lightly anymore. Does it mean that all's done? Not at all. And
उन्होंने बच्चे को आशीर्वाद दिया और हमें बधाई दी कि बच्चे ने कि मतलब जो है तो आपके बच्चे ने जो है कमाल कर दिया, बच्चा जो है आपका जो है मिशन सफलतापूर्वक पूरा हो, इसके लिए बधाई दी उन्होंने। और हम जो है कि बहुत खुश हैं उसके लिए।
Well, it seems like the Prime Minister, some important dignitary spoke with the parents of Shubhanshu Shukla. Could have been the Prime Minister. We're going to confirm that up very quickly. But Mr. Ray, please complete your thoughts. You were talking about the heft that India brings to the table now. And you're absolutely right. Without that heft and that show of power and strength and how we've told the world that we do it better and cheaper than the rest of the world, I think people wouldn't have taken India seriously. So due credit to our forefathers, our scientific forefront forefathers, you know, the Homi Bhabas and, you know, the Sarabhais. You're absolutely right. You've hit the nail on the head at that particular point, Mr. Ray.
Yeah, and this is more than you know, the resources. Look at what is happening currently. While we all dream of that utopia, and Carl Sagan, as I said, as a space I would say an astrophile, I would love that. On the other hand, the practicality is that Earth is running out of resources. Look at already the politics which is going on, not allowing certain minerals required to be shipped across various borders. Including some neighbors which we have. So denying even electric EV vehicle production, which can actually reduce pollution on Earth. Now, what do you do about these critical minerals? What do you do about the resources which are? And if India is not on that table with its large population, with its young population, which needs energy, which needs further resources to be able to continue to play a part. Lot of the advanced nations have already taken most of these resources. We know that. We were late to the party because we were under occupation. Now that we are on that party, we have a growing young population to feed, to clothe, to provide all the resources, and space is one place which we are looking for. And that's where we have very smartly, why I'm saying this, because we had a heft on the table, we were able to navigate that and do these partnerships where Shubhanshu could go on this module. He was, and India spent a good amount of money, but it's not just, it's a money which will get that ticket, right? We had to show our technical expertise, what we can bring to the table, what's the kind of research which we can do. And that's where our foremost institutions came up front and came, I would say, flying high. So tomorrow, if there is mining on the moon, I'm sure with our missions landed, we have a place. Tomorrow, there may not be a time far away where there is asteroid mining, and I think that's where we will soon go. But the next step is having enough astronauts who are well trained in space, who do those journeys, and that's why Gaganyaan is so very critical. And Shaks is the starting point for that.
And Shaks has also been the starting point for Mr. Ray for the Bharat Antriksh space station as well, our very own Indian space station up there. I was just thinking to myself, the International Space Station seems to be a collaborative effort. It's a big vessel, and rightly so, because it houses so many of these nations and their astronauts respectively. But when you talk about our own Bharat Antriksh space station, how will that be carried out? How big will that be? Do we have the wherewithal to send so many astronauts up there? The cycle of astronauts that are going to be positioned there, who's going to be here on the ground here? Because this mission as well was being managed from California with Axiom, with Houston and NASA coming into the picture as well. I mean, it's a collaborative effort. So much goes on in. So within our future, and I'm itching to ask you this question, Mr. Ray, within our future, you can of course extend your answer to all the cool things that might happen as well. Maybe, we have proper tourism experiences in space as well within our future. But realistically, is the Bharat Antriksh space station going to be a reality within our future?
Yeah, so Kabir, you're making me do future thinking, and I always love interacting with you because of that. See, it has to be a reality if we have to be serious about our space in space, pun intended. Okay, so the reason is see, if you talk of ISS itself, it's on its last legs. It's going through a lot of repairs, and increasingly the cost of repairs are going up. It's an old house which is bringing leaks over and above, and I think it's done a brilliant job. We know that our neighbor is already on such a platform, and tomorrow, while you reach out to mine the asteroids and the space, the Mars, one of critical functions will be how many eyes you have of yours, and what of your own satellites, and how do you protect them. So there is a dual use to that which will emerge. Now, the way I see it is, you could have collaborations along the platform. Even if you see here, there are various modules, the Russian module or the Axiom module. So what you need is the platform to be there. And if the platform, our knowledge of the platforms, working with partners in ESA as NASA or Axiom, is we could lead that platform work. Whereas we could have these pods coming in, which are from various other platforms. So the critical bit would be that will get us of course, revenue from them. Secondly, ensure that there is cross learning, and when needed be, we could use the full all the pods itself. So as a start, I think we have to look at the base platform, which is what the mission is looking at, rather than all the pods, and it's an exclusive platform. But yes, we would have various other modules which could talk into it, which is what the current collaboration is. I hope whether we could, I think it's imperative. There is no other way out, because with so many satellites in space, the defense angle coming in, our eyes required on the ground. We have seen recently how warfare or anything like that, but we need to be prepared.
Well, my apologies, Mr. Ray, for putting you on the spot, but I love to have these conversations with you where we're talking about the future as well. And you're absolutely right. I think we're going to build a space station that is in all aspects and capacities better than the International Space Station, because there is going to be so many ways. Group Captain, we've spoken about the Chandrayaan 3 mission, Aditya L1, so much of airfare that we spoke about in air defense systems. But now we're talking about Shubhanshu Shukla, a very historic return. What went through your mind? I'm 100% sure you were glued to your screens as well when you saw him delicately come out of the Dragon capsule, that too very gracefully himself. And I can already see you smiling as well. What's happening in your mind right now?
Kabir, this is my specialty. I have been in this field for last about 83 onwards. How many years, how many decades, you can say. And this is the first Indian attempt to write a book on the human space missions, the concepts. This book was written by me about 6 years back. Second edition has come up. So this is very close to my heart, the entire subject of human space missions. Coming back to Shubhanshu is, of course, I expected that they will get up from their stretcher and walk down, because 17-18 days are quite a small time, quite a short period for any major decompensation to happen in the body. Yes, some of the muscles which is not in the action for that many days, especially the anti-gravity muscles that we call it, the muscle which help us to stand, those have been inactive. So there could be some bit of orthostatic intolerance as far as the blood vessels are concerned. But then you have seen them walking. There is absolutely no problem. They are all fine. 17-18 days are too small a period. People have stayed in space continuously for almost about 2 years in past. And, one has stayed that long. Another has stayed about over a year. So there are many people who have been there. But, when you were just now talking very interestingly onto the human Bharati space station. Look, this will have multi-dimensional effects onto the Indian science journey. It could be a multi-dimensional, like the Chinese. they have got a T module. They have got 3 modules up there in that. I believe one of the modules is only onto the military programs that they are doing it, but other 2 modules are open for the international collaborations that China has been trying to show to the world that they are doing the civilian program. Fair enough. There are many of the civilian program that can be done there in the International Space Station. And this 17-18 days what Shubhanshu has been there is too short a period for doing any any credible scientific research of the sort. Remember, there have been about 500,000 of the research programs in space done over since 60s that people have started going to the space. Now, when Shubhanshu is concerned, he has done some space research. He has not gone merely for the space research. He has not gone for the experiments. He was part of the crew, and that is where India will benefit on the conceptual platform as to how to link in the astronaut into the automation process of the space missions. He also you have seen Crew Dragon is absolutely automated system. Yep. There is hardly anything for the crew to do anything, but should anything go wrong with the computers or any of the programs, or it deviate from its path, that is the time the crew is already in the loop. So he gets a hint and then he takes the control into his hand. So that is the only role that these people will be doing. In this case, neither Peggy nor Shubhanshu had to take the controls in their hand. So fair enough, as and when Gaganyaan goes, in Gaganyaan, not that Shubhanshu will be able to put his training aspects into it. He may have to actually unlearn what he has done in the SpaceX module, because that is entirely technology compared to what we have for the Gaganyaan. So looking at that part, concept will go into the loop of the designing of the human into the space, whether it is Gaganyaan or it is Bharti space station.
We hear you. We hear you, Group Captain. You're absolutely right. This is a pivotal moment. We've been talking about it, but I think it's time for us to slip into a quick commercial breather over here at this point in time. But needless to say, this splashdown that took place off of California's coast, the ripple effect, and the words of "Sare Jahan Se Acha," they're going to echo across the vast, infinite edges of the universe, because this is only India's announcement to that table, like Mr. Ramashish Ray was pointing out, and we're here to stay, and the world will now finally watch out as to what Indians really bring to space exploration bid and this elite club. We're going to slip into a quick commercial breather here. Group Captain V.N. Jha, always a pleasure to have you with us on News 9, and Mr. Ramashish Ray, it's been a riveting conversation with you as well. Shubhanshu Shukla, historic return and his historic homecoming. He's made its way back to Earth after 18 days, being the first Indian on board the International Space Station.
As
Associate sponsor, Dyna Premium Beauty Soap. पहली झलक करे खूबसूरत.
Fresh air. The grill, but different. The alloys, but different. The sunroof, but different. The seats, but different. Different is in the XUV 3XO Rev X series, starting at rupees 8.94 lakh.
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
पार्टी हॉर्न्स भी होने चाहिए, मंगा लेती हूँ। स्ट्रॉबेरी भी मंगा लेती हूँ, खाकरा मंगवा लेती हूँ, थेपला भी मंगवाएगी, थेपला भी मंगवा लेती हूँ, छाछ मंगवा लेती हूँ, स्पार्कलिंग कैंडल्स मंगवा लेती हूँ। अलग अलग मत ऑर्डर कर, एक बार में मंगवा। एफर्ट्स और पैसे दोनों बचा। सेविंग्स की विद्या तो कोई तुझसे सीखे। और बता, जब पैसा हो बचाना, फेडरल बैंक से रिश्ता बनाना।
Opus paints.
It's never easy to choose a new path, to stand out in the crowd, to have your own new identity. The journey to self-reliance begins when you're fully prepared. Tata Motors Commercial Vehicles presents the new Ace Pro, now in bi-fuel, EV and petrol variants. So get ready to say it loud. Ace Pro, ab meri bari.
रास्ता है वही शहर, बदले हैं नजारे या नजर।
चाचा इतना सारा पानी, ट्यूबवेल, बिजली तो आती जाती है, तो ये सब अपना सूरज है ना, सब उसका कमाल है। सूरज
तो कब आए अभी लाइट से?
अरे वाह ताई, पहचान गई। शहर जाके आँख का ऑपरेशन करा लिया क्या?
शहर जाए मेरी जूती, मैंने यहीं अपने गांव में ही करवा लिया। वो जो सूरज है ना अपना, वो सब कर रहा है।
अरे राकेश,
अरे राकेश,
अरे वाह छोटी, ये स्कूल में सीखा?
इंटरनेट पे।
इंटरनेट?
हाँ, सूरज भैया है ना।
कौन है ये सूरज भैया?
आपको उनसे मिलना है क्या?
हाँ
चलो, वो रहे सूरज भैया।
हम सूरज से सिर्फ बिजली नहीं बनाते हैं, खुशहाली को देश के कोने कोने तक भी पहुंचाते हैं। अदानी, हम करके दिखाते हैं।
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be. Thanks for staying with us. In a world that often tells us it's too late to begin again, Fauja Singh stood tall, defying age, odds, and expectation. The 114-year-old marathon legend, whose running journey began at the age of 89, he passed away last night in a tragic road accident near his native village in Punjab's Jalandhar district. A symbol of resilience, spirit, Fauja's life was anything but ordinary. Haunted by personal loss, including the death of his youngest son, he found healing through running, eventually moving to the United Kingdom and becoming a global inspiration. Author and biographer Kushwant Singh confirmed the news of his death, recalling how Fauja's family was once urged to take him away from
ਮ੍ਰਿਤਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫੌਜਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਬੇਟੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਹਰਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੀਰੀਮਾ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਡੈਥ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਿਆਨ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਮੁਕੱਦਮਾ ਨੰਬਰ 114 ਅੰਡਰ ਸੈਕਸ਼ਨ 281 105 BNS ਜਿਹੜਾ दर्ज किया है।
एक्सीडेंट हो गया, गाड़ी लगी उसके बीच जी, गाड़ी वाला तो भाग गया जी। तो
कुछ पहचाना हो चुकी गाड़ी की, कौन सी
पहचान वो पुलिस लगी हुई है
जी,
उसकी CC कैमरे चेक करते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं। देखो इतने बड़ी सड़क में क्या पता लगता है कौन सी गाड़ी कैसे है, ये तो पुलिस का काम है ना जी। हमको तो पता ही नहीं कि क्या हुआ, हमको तो फोन आया।
पुलिस के साथ बातचीत हुई है?
हाँ हाँ हुई है।
क्या कहते हैं
वो कहते हैं लगे हुए हैं, रिकॉर्डिंग देखते हैं सभी रोड पे
जी। तो कोई CCTV सामने नहीं है अभी?
नहीं, उनके पास होगी, मेरे पास नहीं है, उनके पास होगी जो भी कुछ होगी, पुलिस डिप्टी साहब के पास होगी।
कितने बच्चे हैं फौजा सिंह के, बता दीजिए।
मैं सबसे छोटा लड़का हूँ उनका जी। मेरे से हम 3 भाई 3 बहनें हैं।
बहुत ही बड़े एथलीट जो है वो उनकी आज मृत्यु हुई है फौजा सिंह जी की। सबसे पहले मैं उनके परिवार के साथ संवेदना प्रकट करता हूं, और दूसरा मैं समझता हूं वो बहुत बड़े प्रेरणा स्रोत थे। देश भर के लोगों को प्रेरणा लेनी चाहिए, दुनिया भर के लोगों को प्रेरणा लेनी चाहिए कि वो 114 साल की उम्र में भी दौड़ रहे थे और उनका शरीर स्वस्थ था। वो एक्सीडेंट में उनकी मौत हुई है, तो उनसे सभी को प्रेरणा लेके मैं समझता हूं अपने आप को स्वस्थ रखना चाहिए।
Punjab's Governor Gulab Chand Kataria and Prime Minister Narendra Modi both mourned his loss, with the PM calling him an exceptional athlete who inspired generations on fitness and discipline. And what began as a hobby to escape his grief soon became Fauja Singh's life force. He went on to run marathons in London, in New York, we're talking Hong Kong, and not just running and participating in these marathons, clocking impressive times for a man over 90 born with weak legs. Along the way, he became a torch bearer at the 2012 London Olympics and was honored by Queen Elizabeth II for his contributions to sport and charity. As investigation is underway, in this particular case, his family awaits justice for the marathon runner. Well, your monsoon tracker coming on your screens next. Weather woes continue in Mumbai. The India Met Department has now upgraded the city's weather alert from yellow to orange as heavy rain lashes several parts of Mumbai city and its suburbs. The downpour has led to traffic chaos, waterlogging and safety hazards. Relentless rainfall brought parts of the city to a halt. Link Road, Jogeshwari and Goregaon witnessed major traffic disruptions as roads were waterlogged, causing inconvenience to thousands of commuters heading to work. In Navi Mumbai's Kamote area, a tree collapsed on a parked car due to intense downpour. Fortunately, no injuries were reported as the vehicle was unoccupied at the time of the accident. The IMD has urged residents to stay indoors unless absolutely necessary and advised local authorities to remain on alert to manage emergencies arising from heavy rainfall. Time for a quick commercial breather here. Top developments right on the other side. Keep it with News9.
This is India's #1 news network and you're watching News9. English news.
Associate sponsor Anchor Toothpaste. नए जमाने की नई सुरक्षा.
ये गोल्डन का तेरे लिए मंगाओ. मेरे नए म्यूजिक गॉगल्स मंगाओ क्या?
ये नई गाड़ी कप होल्डर है, ठोकी भी रख सकते हैं, म्यूजिक भी.
सेविंग्स की विद्या तो फिर तुझसे सीखे. कुछ बड़ा बनाना है तो पहले बचाओ. फेडरल बैंक से रिश्ता बनाओ.
रास्ता है वही शहर, बदले हैं नजारे या नजर.
चाचा इतना सारा पानी, ट्यूबवेल, बिजली तो आती जाती है. ये सब अपना सूरज है ना, सब उसका कमाल है. सूरज
तू कब आया अभी लाइट से?
अरे वाह ताई, पहचान गई. शहर जाके आँख का ऑपरेशन करा लिया क्या?
शहर जाए मेरी जूती. मैंने यहीं अपने गांव में ही करवा लिया. वो जो सूरज है ना अपना, वो सब कर रहा है.
अरे राकेश. अरे वाह छोटी, ये स्कूल में सीखा?
इंटरनेट पे.
इंटरनेट?
हाँ, सूरज भैया है ना.
कौन है ये सूरज भैया?
आपको उनसे मिलना है क्या?
हाँ
चलो, वो रहे सूरज भैया.
हम सूरज से सिर्फ बिजली नहीं बनाते हैं, खुशहाली को देश के कोने कोने तक भी पहुंचाते हैं. अदानी, हम करके दिखाते हैं.
This is India's #1 news network and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Tesla has marked its official entry into the Indian market with its launch of the first showroom in Mumbai that took place today. Visuals on your screens. The electric vehicle giant is opening its India showroom at the Maker Maxcity Mall in Mumbai City's Bandra Kurla complex, the BKC. And this marks the beginning of Tesla's journey in one of the world's fastest growing electric vehicle markets. The Model Y will be Tesla's first offering in India and will be sold as a completely built unit, likely imported from the company's gigafactory in Shanghai. And in preparation for its launch, Tesla has brought in vehicles, superchargers and accessories worth nearly $1 million into India, primarily sourced from China and the United States. The imports include 6 units of the popular Model Y SUV.
आज टेस्ला ने मुंबई से लॉन्च की है अपना भारत का पहला एक्सपीरियंस सेंटर. अपनी भारत की एंट्री आज उन्होंने मुंबई से अनाउंस की है. हमने उसका स्वागत किया है। अभी अभी उसका उद्घाटन भी हमने किया है। टेस्ला मुंबई में एक्सपीरियंस सेंटर के साथ साथ डिलीवरी की व्यवस्था, लॉजिस्टिक्स की व्यवस्था और सर्विसिंग की व्यवस्था ये सारी खड़ा कर रहा है। साथ में 4 बड़े चार्जिंग स्टेशन और 32 चार्जिंग की व्यवस्था है, ये भी टेस्ला खड़ा कर रहा है, जिसके कारण एक बड़े पैमाने पर ये चार्जिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी यहाँ पर तैयार होगा।
Moving on, a major crackdown on illegal weapons in the state of Manipur, a state scarred by deadly ethnic violence. In a joint operation, the Manipur Police, Central Armed Police Forces and the Assam Rifles have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunition from multiple districts. Visuals on your screens. In total, 86 weapons and 974 rounds of ammunition were seized on Tuesday from Imphal East, Imphal West, Thobal, Kaching and Bishnupur districts. The haul included grenades, IEDs, AK series rifles and INSAS rifles. We're looking at pistols, anti-riot guns and SBBLs. The operation, led by IGP Zone 2, Kabib K, is part of a sustained effort to rid the state of illegal arms stockpiles. Just days earlier, on the 3rd and the 4th of July, over 200 illegal weapons were recovered in similar raids across the hill districts.
Altogether, total number of ammunitions recovered are 974 numbers. There are 41 numbers of assorted magazines also recovered and 6 number of various types of wireless handsets are also recovered. These continued intelligence-led operations represent a major accomplishment for the Manipur police and the security forces in their continued mission to restore peace, uphold public order and safeguard the lives and property of citizens.
Just to tell the viewers, Manipur has been under President's rule since deadly ethnic clashes erupted back in May 2023 between the Meitei and the Kuki communities. More than 250 people have died and thousands internally displaced, many still living in relief camps. And just last week, police also arrested 6 members of the Meitei outfit Arambai Teng of a banned group in Bishnupur district for allegedly assaulting police personnel during a bandh. With tensions still simmering, authorities say their focus remains on curbing violence, seizing weapons and restoring peace to the region. Some political developments next. Leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, has been granted bail by a special MP-MLA court in connection with the defamation case. The court has directed